Hi, welcome back. So today I'm going to talk about height control valves. This is a height control valve from a Silver Shadow 2 Bentley T series. We're going to do a bit of a series on hydraulic components and how they work and how you can recondition them. Most of them have the parts you need to be able to overhaul them. Obviously, unless they're too far gone that they're not going to take a seal, and we're going to talk more about that as well. So what I thought I'd do was start off with the height control valve. These are quite common that they all leak. We do overhaul these quite regularly. I'm going to dismantle this in front of the camera. This is actually a brand new, genuine height control valve from Crew. We managed to get a couple. We're just lucky enough to find them from someone and buy them. And they were, don't know how old they are. Don't know how long ago they were bought, but it's not something you could just sell and expect someone to put in the car and for it not to leak, because you just don't know. We didn't know what the condition was like inside, how long they've been on the shelf for. So they're all going to need dismantling, and they'll be sold as reconditioned units. But and it is a good idea that we do that, because actually this one dismantled it yesterday, and there's quite a lot of reason to think it probably wouldn't have sealed properly. And I'll talk about that more as I dismantle it, and what you look for with these units and what tends to go wrong and what can mean that you can't rebuild it. So, first of all, I'll just give a quick rundown of how they work. So this is connected, this is bolted onto the rear subframe, and it has a rod that is connected to the trailing arm. So as the suspension is lowered, that pushes this arm up, which turns this shaft here, which moves a cam inside, and that allows high pressure that's fed into the valve into the rear rams, which jack up the car. And obviously, as you move this up and down, that will change the amount of pressure that's supplied to the rams and affect the height of the car. So this is the high pressure feed in. This comes from the brake pumps, or from the high pressure system. That is then, unless there's enough weight in the car to move the arm up, that will just stay in this chamber and not go anywhere. So the high pressure goes in to this chamber here, then this is the high pressure out to the ram. So as this lifts up, pressure will be taken from the bottom chamber into the top chamber and fed to the rams. This one here, this is the return one. As you can see, this has got a low pressure. See the difference? These are all threaded plugs, right? They're a heavy duty plug, but this one here is just a little circlip that holds in this plug. That's because there's no pressure really to build up in this chamber. And this is just the return line. This chamber here is the signal feed that comes from the height control solenoid valve. So I believe it's when the rear door opens, or there's certain things that trigger the height control solenoid valve to supply high pressure into this chamber, which causes fast height control. Otherwise, because that all goes through restrictor valves, and you've got a return and a high pressure and a low pressure restrictor. I mean, there's a schematic that we can upload and show you, but it's basically, in a nutshell, high pressure in this chamber, high pressure out this chamber, return on this chamber, and signal pressure in this chamber. So all these three chambers can potentially have high pressure in them, which is why they've got these big plugs with a thread on it. And this is the low pressure return, which can should only have just a return flowing through it. A common thing that happens with these is people don't change their hydraulic hoses, and that can actually cause pressure to build up in this chamber, or they pipe it up wrong and cause pressure to build up in this chamber. And what happens is actually the weakest part goes, and this plug just bursts out the end, and the circuit takes a chunk of metal off with it, and then this end of the valve is pretty much scrap. So that's something common we see. So I'm going to dismantle this valve now, it's already, everything's been loosened off and all the O-rings and seals have been taken out just so it's easy to disassemble in front of the camera. So yeah, and then you can use it as a reference to how it goes back together if you are doing one yourself. So normally I'd take this arm off straight away. When we supply them, they don't come with the arm. There's different length arms depending on the year. There's actually even different arms. The early arms, you see how this pinch bolt here goes through the arm, and you can see that that's wasted all the way through. I don't know if you can see that. Where are we? That's wasted here. Now the early ones only had 2 wasted notches, so the bolt could only go on in one place. The arm could only go on the shaft in one position, and then the adjustment was done on the link rod from the trading arm. But the later ones, you can actually undo that nut and put that in any position before you clamp it up. So what I would normally do is hold this in a vise and then crack off these, because these are done up tight. Crack them off so that when you've undone it and you've got it in pieces, you can then undo them easily while you're holding the thing in the vise. I mean, you can still hold this bit in the vise and undo these ones, but this bit is obviously connected to this end of the casing, so you'd have nothing to really hold it tight enough to undo this nut. So I'm going to undo these casing nuts now and open it up. One thing I noticed when I started dismantling this one yesterday is these nuts have got, I don't know, people that have obviously seen this before, you have this kind of like little pattern on the nut. It's like a line all the way around it with a little, so it's got a little symbol and a number 3. Now, I was always taught that they go down, and that it was some kind of locking to help the nut lock. But on this one, which came straight from the factory, all of the nuts were with that symbol facing out. So I don't know, maybe I was taught that incorrectly. You guys can feel free to comment about that if you have more information on that, on what that coding or line is on the nut. So as you take this out, right, what you'll notice is, I'll do it this way so you can see without the arm in the way. So there is a spring in between the two, right? And I'll do it this way so the spring doesn't come out. Right. So this is the cam side of the valve where the lever moves and opens a cam. This is the high pressure end. I'm going to pop that. So that spring just sits in that groove. I mean, it just sits in there. These pistons here are actually matched to this casing. They've obviously got, it's an aluminium casing this, and it's got steel barrels in the casing, which obviously are pressed in or formed. I don't know how they're pressed in there, but they don't come out. And those are matched ground to these little pistons here, right? So you can't buy these separately. You have to buy this whole casing, and it's not available anymore. So that's obviously, I mean, this one you can see here, there is some corrosion on it. I mean, that'll clean up. I mean, obviously you don't want to start putting any heavy abrasives on these because they're a perfect fit in the, they're a match ground fit in there because they're essentially a valve. And so you don't want to wear them down at all. I'm going to take them out for now and show you what's on the other side. So I'll take this off. This one, both of these have got sprung valves inside the casing, right? And the springs are pushed in with these caps. So this is, normally there's an O-ring on the end here, which has been removed. And a little spring. This is the thin spring of the two springs that are in there. Sorry, thin coils. You'll see another spring, which is chunkier but much thinner. And then this valve. You know, sometimes it gets a little bit, you've got to be gentle with it though, because that's got, so you can see this is like a little aluminium washer with a nylon, it's the same either side, and that goes down into the body of this casing here and seals. I think we'll have to get a light in there to see it properly, but it just sits down the bottom and the spring pushes it against the seat, and basically what happens is this valve here, just it as that goes in and out, that lifts that valve off its seat and allows pressure to flow in. The other side is, so there's the other spring, and this one, it has this metal valve, and that again, that just sits in the chamber the same. It sits, but the wider shoulder goes down on there, and that obviously that's in the chamber with the chamber that has high pressure feed out to the ram. So that is fully dismantled now, this side of the valve. The O-ring, there's this side of the valve here has O-rings that sit in these grooves, and that obviously seals between the two faces. So you have to ensure there's no corrosion on this face here where the O-rings sit, because obviously that's unlikely to seal. I thought I'd leave this arm on, and so I'm going to take you through this side of the valve now. This is the piston. Inside there, you'll see this, as I turn this shaft, I'm going to try and get a good angle. As I turn that, you can see that piston moving. Now, usually that's sprung, so you can hear it kind of clonking about in there, but because it's not being sprung, it's just free falling. But if you turn this arm, if you're on the car and you turn this arm past a certain point, can you see the shaft going through there? Right, that shaft it's an eccentric shaft, and there's a cutout on that piston, and you'll see that's going down. And if I go up, that shaft actually goes above the slot, and then what that causes is it causes the piston to become to basically come out, and when it's sprung, you can't. It will fail basically. And look, you see that piston's gone back there now, and then when I turn this back, it just jammed up. So that's what can happen if you turn the shaft too far on the car. It will actually roll over the cam, and then you'll have to dismantle it in order to get to it again. I'm going to take this arm off now. It'll be easy to show you. So that's just a pinch bolt. It's just a pinch bolt that holds the arm. Obviously, when you're putting it on the car, you're going to need to make sure that you set that arm in the correct position, because otherwise you'll potentially load up the car and it will roll over or supply the wrong pressure. Now look, this is, I've already taken these circlips out, but when these are corroded, they can be really fiddly to take out. So you do need a good set of circlip pliers, the right size, and sometimes you can get one end of the circlip out and hoik it out with a pick or something like that. But you do have to be gentle with these casings, because it's aluminium and some of them are old and corroded, and they can break. All right. So look, that's that circlip taken out there. Okay, and then this little cover here, that washer covers the gland for the shaft. Now, I'll show you more closely in a second. I'll do the other side as well. Once that washer just sits there behind the circlip, holding that gland in place around the shaft. I've taken the gland out. You'll see there's a gap around there. The shaft won't come out until you take this piston out. So that's another circlip here in the top. Now, sometimes these can be a little bit tight. I'm just going to tap the piston down to push that plug out. See, the plug just sits there, and then that piston, see, that's the piston there. That's where, you see the way the cutaway is, the shaft sits in that cutaway. I'll show you more in a second when I get the shaft out. So now you can see the shaft. You can see how that turns when it's working in the car. I'll pull that out now. So you can see it's off center. That's what rolls on that piston and pushes it in and out. So I don't know if you can see that very well. I think you get what I'm saying, right? That. So then, and the last bit, this bit here is just, this is shimmed because this actually goes up against this piston here, and when high pressure is fed to this, you get high leveling. So the shims are there to make sure that it's the actual plug is in the right position, so it doesn't start pushing that down until you want to supply high pressure. There's no springs or anything behind that one. It's just shimmed, and that's it. So that's it dismantled. Now, what I'll do is we're going to wrap the video up there, and I'm going to do another video very soon about putting it back together, actually resealing it, fitting the seals, and what you need to look out for when you're putting the seals in, and what might cause the casing to actually not take seals. Because because it's aluminium, and although aluminium doesn't corrode like steel, it does corrode and it pits very easily, and it does mean that the seals can't always be used, and I'll tell you where to look out for that. So yeah, so we're going to start a series of these videos. This is the first one. We'll try and get another one out in the next couple of days. So if you want to see that video, please subscribe to the channel. We're also interested in your comments, any suggestions, anything you want to see. So please like and comment below, and we look forward to seeing you on the next one.